No matter how great an NBA season is, there will always be disappointments. And I would even say that disappointments are what make sports great. If everything was predictable, there would be no point to watch it all, so in no order, here are the 35 biggest disappointments of the 2022 NBA season. Not only was Ben Simmons a disappointment in last year's playoffs, but his lack of play this season was really lame because we all wanted to see how he bounced back. Lonzo Ball's fit with the Bulls is amazing, but he didn't play nearly the games we all wanted him to. Nikola Vucevic's play has not been up to par this season, so much so that people are questioning whether the trade was a mistake or not, despite them making the playoffs for the first time in a long time. I promise Bulls fans, I do not mean to bully y'all, but after being the first seed after 30 games, your play against elite teams has been very disappointing. Injuries have been a huge part, but the Cavaliers were also a top 3 team halfway through the season, and they fell off a cliff. There have been many bad dunk contests, but I cringed more in this year's than I ever have in any year combined. The Celtics being fully healthy in the first half of the season and being under 500 was crazy. Kawhi Leonard not returning for the regular season turned into a lot of Western Conference All-Stars who just aren't at the All-Star level. My pick for Defensive Player of the Year, Jaren Jackson Jr., probably would have been an All-Star if he could at least shoot league average efficiency for a guard, let alone the fact that he is a big. I made a video on why the Hawks could be the 1 seed before the season. So this goes without saying. Duncan Robinson's shooting just hasn't been good enough to justify the $90 million he's going to be paid. There were questions about Donovan and Gobert's chemistry in the first year of the bubble, and it's only gotten worse. The New York Knicks were a 4 seed last season, and I expected them to fall all the way to the play-in, and they couldn't even do that. Julius Randle went from most improved player to least improved player in back-to-back years. I couldn't tell you if the Sacramento Kings management has changed in the last 15 years because the results haven't. If you play NBA fantasy, you know what De'Aaron Fox's expectations were going into the season, and he was awful in the first half. The Los Angeles Lakers. Russell Westbrook. Anthony Davis's ability to check into the game and play the game of basketball. I put $70 on the Raptors picking Jalen Suggs in the draft, and I thought they were the biggest idiots ever to pick Scottie over Suggs. After getting paid $75 million over 4 years, Tim Hardaway Jr. just missed half of the games, and when he did play, he just wasn't good. On the Nets, and oh wait, I forgot. So far, also James Harden on the Sixers, so just James Harden. Kyrie Irving has played 28 games of basketball. Jamal Murray and MPJ is the difference between the Nuggets being a 6 seed and a 2 seed. Before the season, I had the Indiana Pacers making the playoffs with the brand new coach, but they will forever be a cursed franchise with injuries. Let's just pray for Tyrese Halliburton. Jeremy Grant not getting traded to a contender at the trade deadline was just really annoying. Zion Williamson is probably my favorite NBA player, so him being too fat and then being hurt just makes me really mad. Who knows where the Pelicans would be in the standings if they didn't start 2-14. Nickeil Alexander-Walker was supposed to step up as the Pelicans' future point guard for Zion, and instead he got traded twice this season. Jalen Green's first half of the season had a lot of NBA fans throwing the harsh word bust around, which is very weird. The Portland Trailblazers were a very cringe team to watch outside of Anthony Simons. James Wiseman is a lesson to GMs. Take talent over fit. They could have had LaMelo Ball. And finally, the Wizards started 10-4 at the number 1 seed just to miss the play-in. I'll admit, it's not that much of a disappointment to end the video with, but I really don't care. So that's the video. If you enjoyed, then do something about it. My next video will be after the play-in, and I'll be talking about the most underrated player on every playoff team, and peace.